Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're going to try and cut straight through the noise on, well, one of the most guarded real estate sectors on earth, UK prime residential. We've gone through a stack of sources, everything from prime central London to these huge country estates, and the mission here is to figure out what's really driving things.
And it's fascinating because the sentiment we're seeing is just, it's all over the place. It's incredibly
It's
divergent.
not just UK stuff, is it?
Not at all. These sources show the market acting like a high-speed barometer. It's reacting instantly to events happening way beyond Britain's shores.
Okay, so let's start with the politics then, because that feels like where the immediate shocks came from.
Right.
The sources keep pointing to the fallout from the October 2024 UK budget, especially around tax policy, and how that landed at almost the exact same time as all the uncertainty from the US election.
That combination was just toxic for confidence. That dual instability created a classic flight response, especially for high net worth individuals.
We're talking about the non-doms, right?
Yeah, exactly. The people who live here but aren't domiciled for tax. The headlines from early 2025 were all about non-dom uncertainty persists, and it froze capital. Prices went flat in prime central London.
But here's the weird thing, the paradox. While sales went flat, the high-end rental market, it just went through the roof.
Oh, absolutely.
We saw headlines about a post-budget limbo boost for super prime lettings. So the wealthiest people, they're not leaving the UK. They're just renting.
It's a tactical pause. They're paying these astronomical rents to wait for clarity. It's a flight to a sort of temporary, very luxurious stability.
And then you have global fears amplifying that. I'm looking at one from January 2025. Prospect of a Trump presidency intensifies labor's mortgage market headache.
And that just shows you how connected it all is. Speculation about an election across the Atlantic directly feeds into UK property anxiety. It's incredible.
So if political anxiety is driving these tactical rental moves, let's pivot to the pure financial pressure on the wider market. Because even with all this focus on the super rich, things like the mortgage market price war in late 2025 have to be having an effect.
It creates this really interesting knock-on effect. You see, the rising mortgage costs, they create what the sources call uncertainty and opportunity in country markets.
How does that work?
Well, simply put, when regular sellers and these really desirable country spot sellers with mortgages feel that financial pinch, it creates a buying opportunity for cash-rich prime investors. They can swoop in and capitalize on that distress.
So that's why the overall sentiment is so confusing. You get a warning like, caution rises in London super prime market and a forecast for a sober 2025.
Right.
But then, just a few weeks later, a headline says, investors place big bets on 2026.
How can both be true?
Because they're looking past the immediate pain. That divergence is everything. It shows that investors are positioning for the upswing. They see signals like the ECB rate cuts back in September 2024, and they're thinking, okay, monetary easing is coming.
So they buy now at a
That's
discount, basically. Exactly. They're predicting a robust recovery and getting in ahead of it.
Okay, this next part, I have to admit, it really surprised me. It shows just how linked all these high-value assets are.
The wine.
The wine. The sources kept linking all these property market updates to a recovery in fine wine prices.
It sounds strange, but it's a fantastic indicator of returning confidence in hard assets. Fine wine, like prime property, is a stable, portable store of value, and its recovery, tracked by things like the LiveX 100 index, came after a really tough 3-year period. The fact that high-end assets are moving again, with places like Tuscany being especially resilient, is a strong sign that global capital is flowing back into tangible things. Property is likely to follow.
So let's boil this all down. What's the core takeaway for you listening? It seems to me that this prime residential market is a kind of barometer, showing these contradictory reactions like flat sales, but a rental boom all at the same time.
Yes, and the underlying strategy is crystal clear. Even with all the volatility and the sober outlook for right now, investors are absolutely positioning for the long game.
They're placing those big bets on 2026.
They are. It shows a fundamental belief in the long-term security of these prime UK assets.
Okay, so since we know this market is driven by global capital and political stability, we'll leave you with a thought to explore. The sources mention a European prime residential forecast for 2025. What city tops that list? And based on everything we've just talked about, tax certainty, global capital, why do you think that specific city is the one position for growth?